Mm-mm. All right, y'all. We in for another episode of HBCU Stories. I'm Jay Bliss, man. I'm joined by three of my partners, man. On the screen, we got my boy Monty Rogers representing Norfolk State University. I got my man Q Allen representing Benedict, and I got Travis the GOAT representing Johnson C. Smith University, man. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling, man?
What's going on, Justin?
Hey man, I can't call it, man. Hey, let's listen. So, what we like to do here on HBCU Stories, man, we just like to chop it up, talk to everybody about their experiences at historically black colleges and universities. I'm gonna start with Monty, man. Like, what was you originally from Charlotte?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised in Charlotte. Okay. And why Norfolk State? Like, why HBCU? And did you apply to any other schools other than HBCU?
Oh yeah. Well, I went to a predominantly white high school. I went to South Mecklenburg High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. So growing up, I just kept watching the episodes of Different World, and I always seen the nukes up in the pit and everything, man. So I asked my brother. My brother, he's 11 years older than me. He went to Hampton University. And then he was telling me, man, he was just going ahead and groove me, like, you got to go to a HBCU. You got to go to a historically black college. You got to go to a school that's all black. So he started grooming me, man. So then, man, that's how I know I started choosing school. I wanted to go to North Carolina Central. I applied for Central. I applied for North Carolina A&T, also Morehouse, and also Winston State. I got in all those schools, but then something about Norfolk State just told me to go there. I don't know, man. You know how you had to pick your schools when you do your SAT scores?
Yeah.
Norfolk State, I'd never been there. I just happened to put it up on there, and that's I know they start sending me information. And I applied to them, and I got in, and then I just went with it, man. So when I got there, it was just crazy. It just opened up my eyes. But my brother was the one that schooled me and told me that, hey, you got to go to HBCU, and when you go to college, it's going to be the best 4 years of your life.
No doubt, man. So Q, what was your circumstance? You originally from where? Chicago, right? Q, you there? Your screen froze. All right, let me go to Go.
Yeah, I'm here.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, well, I don't know what was going on. Let me turn my. Okay. Yeah, for me it was like honestly, man, because I ain't have shit else to do. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like after high school, man, a lot of cats that I was going to school with, they was just hanging around, still doing little odd end jobs here and there and shit like that or whatever. And my GPA was so low in high school, I was like, ain't no college in my future. Like I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't feel like college was in the future, man. But I ended up going to it was actually a Martin Luther King based black college tour or whatever. Right. And they was in Chicago this year. And I happened to walk past the table and was talking to one of my friends who was like, yo, if I can go to a school that got a good choir, like I go, you know what I mean? I sing and do whatever I gotta do to make it. Or whatever, right. I might be able to get in. The lady called me over from Benedict, and she was like, you know what, come check us out or whatever. She had a little video there and everything set up, and she sold me on it real good. They sold me on it real good. But just like Monty, like the whole like living in my thing wasn't so much Different World. It was more so like movies like School Days. Like that was a blueprint for me. Like I was like, mugs out here doing the butt, like that's what they doing. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I can rock with that. I can rock with that. And of course, seeing the noops and stuff like that, and me going through the Guy Right program and stuff like that, it was like, okay, I can rock with this. Like this college thing might work. You know what I mean? So found out about Benedict, and that was it, man.
That was it. So you went from Chicago all the way down south.
All the way down south. It was it was just a drastic like all around. And it's crazy because when I was in Chicago, I was going to Columbia College downtown, majoring in musical theater or whatever. And the in-state tuition that went up so crazy, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and just chill out on this college thing right now because this shit might not be for me because the pockets ain't looking too good, and I know my grades ain't gonna get me no scholarship. So let me chill out. But yeah, when I found out about Benedict, man, and they took me into the program and got me right, but it was definitely an experience.
That's dope. Cool. That's dope. And Goat, now listen. So you from Charleston, and you are one of the first people I met from Charleston when I got to Smith. So what was like because I never met anybody from Charleston. I met you and Frank and Ivory and Balls and all those. I was like, I never met anybody from Charleston. So y'all accent kind of threw me for a loop at first when I met y'all. But what was the circumstances behind you going to HBCU and why Smith?
Mine was a little different than all the other guys' stories. When I went to when I was in high school, I really didn't think I was going to go to college. The guys out in Charleston, people weren't really trying to go to school. Everybody was trying to work or get their hustle on. I got to attribute me going to school to my parents. I remember my dad said, you're going to learn to meet new friends doing different things. And I never told them that I didn't want to go to school. My parents are real strict type of folks. So I couldn't even say, hey, you know what? I ain't going to school. Really, the love of football and sports really got me to go to school. If it wasn't for that, regardless how my parents thought that, I really wasn't going to go because there are people that I used to hang out with was a little bit older than me. So they had already graduated, was already, having their own apartment, having their job. They were living life. And that's what I saw. They was living life, but they weren't living the right life. They was hustling, but they was getting there. So for me, that's what I wanted to do. My parents were both graduates of Allen University and Benedict. My mom went to Benedict, graduated from Benedict, and my dad graduated from Allen. So, but that wasn't what I really wanted to do. So that's kind of the reason why how I got to Smith. I got to Smith one time, went on a tour. There was a guy in Charleston that was good friends with my dad. He was a I forgot the name of the school he graduated from, but he was HBCU, and he took me. He was a recruiter, and he took me on a yard. And I remember in Charleston, you don't have a lot of high rises, so I fell in love at Smith with the high rises in Charlotte when I was younger. And first time I got on the yard, it was the buildings, and I think it was like a little bit of nighttime. So I saw the little nighttime lights and stuff on the yard, and I saw all of course, the women, and I actually saw a lot of at that time pledging. So pledging then wasn't underground, so it was like at that time, I think this was 1990. Everybody was just out in the open. So I'm seeing people standing like a statue, kind of. I'm like, what's wrong with him? People putting money on them and stuff like that. I really didn't understand that. But that experience kind of made me feel like, this is where I need to be. And granted, I only went to one. That was my first college tour. And so I was like, you know what? This is where I want to go. A lot of other fellas went to South Carolina State. So a lot of my folks that was in high school went to South Carolina State. And, my dad was like, you go to South Carolina State, it's like going to high school all over again because everybody that already. So leaving the state was helped me. It was like that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to Johnson C. Smith. Had a great time at Johnson C. Smith. I would never regret anything of it. So that's really my story. How I got to Smith.
So Monty, when you stepped on the yard, because you went to tours, so you had kind of seen what was going on. You from Charlotte, so I know you saw Smith somewhat growing up.
Yeah.
What was your impression when you first stepped on campus at Norfolk State, and did you know anybody there?
Well, let me say this, man, because y'all was talking about like being at John C. Smith. The GOAT was saying being at Smith in 1990. I was actually going to John C. Smith, but I wasn't going there as a college student. I was still in like 4th or 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? But I was going to kiddie college every Saturday morning at John C. Smith, man. So they had me going there, and they only taught number like math and science. It's like all the black kids. You know what I'm saying? So we got real deep. So every Saturday morning, I'd be up in that cafeteria of a John C. Smith eating them little cheese danishes, getting ready for kiddie college and stuff. That was my first taste of HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with John C. Smith. But man, my first time ever at Norfolk State University, you know, you had your first view, and then you had your freshman orientation, and that's what set it off for me was that freshman orientation because I'm coming from Charlotte, North Carolina to Norfolk, Virginia. I didn't know nobody there. And then, you know, Norfolk, Virginia is sort of like they in between Richmond and also DC area type vibe, type flow. So they consider themselves a little bit more northerners than us southerners. So they was calling me like a Bama. You know what I'm saying? I was a country Bama to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I got more, like Goat was saying, we got high-rise buildings. Y'all got a shipyard here, man. Y'all the Bamas. I'm not the Bamas here. I see cotton coming all up Highway 58. You ain't gonna play me like I'm the Bama, but you know, play me like that, man. But my first impression was like, oh man, it's on. Like, man, my freshman year, just being out the house and not having to worry about my mom or my brothers all up on me or my dad trying to see what's going on with me. I'm like, man. And then, like I told you, I'm the Southern, so man, like I'm seeing like different women from all up north, West Coast, and I'm like, man, I'm in heaven. Like this
is the place to be.
Right. So, I'm telling all my boys that didn't go to college, like, hey, y'all made the wrong choice. College is where it's at, man, because you know, then that's when you start doing like different trips with your homeboys. You start vibing with the people that stay like in your dorm rooms or you know what I'm saying? We started vibing, man, up on our freshman dorm room. We had the second floor board. That was we the second floor boys, man. We was walking around acting a fool, and then you know you got your little sweat boxes every Thursday night. Little party that's on campus, and that's when, man, you start getting familiar with everybody. Like, man, like if you had to go to campus, you had to go to school that day, you had to go to class like 30 minutes early because you walked around and dapped everybody up going to class. Like you didn't just see them the other night. You like, man, what's up? You dapping out, and then you meet so many different type of folks from New York, DC, the football players. It's like, man, everybody had their own clique where everybody vibe, man. So my first impression was lovely, man. Like, man, that freshman orientation, we got all that in two days. Freshman orientation was 2 days. It was a weekend. You had to test, and then you had to go ahead and start applying for your classes. But man, that weekend was lovely, man. It just opened me up, and I was ready for school. Man.
That's dope. So Q, you was coming from Chicago. Did you fly in or did you drive?
Man, we drove down, man. My sister and my brother-in-law, man, they drove me down in that 83 Chevy Suburban. Boy, we was humming, boy. We on that highway, and my sister, she a late night rider. You know what I'm saying? So she would hit that highway at 1 o'clock in the morning, throwing 100 all the way down. You know what I'm saying? So we cut that 9 hours to about 6. You know, so she drove me down, man. I had my trunk, I had 2 suitcases, and I had my book bag. That was it.
That was all
I had. And
so, what was your impression when you stepped on the yard? Like, you know,
well, my first impression when I stepped on the yard, I had to go back a little bit. So before I came to college or whatever, I had long hair. I had braids. I literally had braids. But you know, my mom's she was like, you know, she sold the whole she looking through the whole pamphlets and all the information about the school and everything, and that we wear suits on certain days of the week and blah 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 blah. So she like, you gotta cut that hair. You cut that hair. You going, if this is a business type school and you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta cut your hair. Blah blah blah. A week before school, a week before I come down, I go ahead and I get my hair cut. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you get a fresh cut after you had long hair, ain't no waves popping off. You ain't doing no waves. Ain't none of that. All your stuff gonna be just standing up. All the hair standing up. So, so I was kind of hot about that or whatever. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. So, getting back to the original question, my first impression, we coming through the gate. The first thing you see is the library. That's the first thing you face with in the yard when you come in the yard at Benedict. Sitting on the library steps, what do I see? Two chicks sitting there braiding two niggas' hair. Bruh. When I tell you, I was hot. Oh, I was tight. I was like, nigga, man, I could have had these two chicks, one of these bras out here braiding my hair, and this. Man, I was tight, bro. I was tight. So after I got through that, I was like the same thing, Monty, the same thing your boy told you. Your mom's and told you it was gonna be like state was like high school all over again. Yeah, that's how it was. It was like high school all over again. Even though I didn't know anybody, it was still one of those situations like, yo, this the crib. Like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no uptight kind of cruise or whatever like that I saw. You know what I mean? Now the Greeks, the upperclassmen, they didn't get on the yard for a whole nother week. So for that whole week, it was nothing but freshmen. So all of us clicking up, we linking up or whatever. The food in the cafeteria was good up until that next week. Then the food got bad. So they sold me, dog. They sold me that first week, boy. They sold me. I was like, I'm waiting. Yeah, they sucking you in. And the dude stepping on the yard or something. Something got to happen beyond this. This is too good to be true. But it was an amazing experience, man. It was an amazing experience, man. Some of my best relationships that I've built over the years have been in college, like the most lasting ones. You know what I mean? Like one of my best friends, dude, he's a Sigma or whatever, and me and this dude is tight. You know what I'm saying? This is the only dude I can probably sit on the phone longer than 15, 20 minutes talking, just shooting the shit with. You know what I mean? Before it become awkward. Like, look, we on the phone too long, bro. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is, man. And those are the type of relationships that I've like held on to, and I appreciate everything that I went through when it came to that experience at a black college, man.
No doubt. So Travis, I know we came in the same year, but you were on campus way before me because you played football. So you got on the yard before everybody. Like y'all was already in school when we got there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So y'all in the band, I think y'all had maybe a month before we all got there or whatever.
I think it's about 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. So what was the impression like when you got there?
Well, it was a little pressure for me. I went through actually a lot. I don't know if you realize it. You may remember, I don't know, but when I first got to Smith, play ball, you know, the guy who was in my position previously had CIAA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So got to know the upperclassmen. Got to go, you know, the guys who came in with me, freshmen and stuff like that. Liston Hall,
no doubt,
over there in Rosa Ferry. Somebody say you're from Charlotte, right? So you know where Rosa Ferry Road was. Yeah. and Liston Hall, you know, in Charleston, you know, it was kind of quiet where I grew up. But when I went to Smith, it was a lot different. Right. You know, I used to have a lot of sirens. You got your ambulance. You got the fire trucks back then in 91. I got shot at Johnson C. Smith before even school started. Yeah. Through the week, you know, school. I guess camp was like 3 weeks. Within a week before school started, I was shot. You know, a lot of people was on campus, but school hadn't started yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I was like one of 8 people that got shot. So
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that night.
Yeah. So it was a Monday night. It was Monday Night Football. You know,
Yeah.
I actually was about to come back to Charleston, but I told my mom, I was like, with the guys I was hanging with in Charleston, I mean, if I come back home, what you going, really, what's it going to do? Yeah, I'm here to go to school, play
Yeah.
football, make a career. So
Yeah.
I stayed at Smith, um, which was the best decision for me.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
uh, love Smith, had a great time. Um, you know, I was talking Q. You was talking about being at Benedict. What year you left Benedict?
Oh, '08. I'm probably the youngest one on this
Oh yeah,
on this
yeah.
joint
So
right now.
yeah. You don't know none of the people.
Yeah.
I was gonna throw a name out to you. D'Angelo Shaw. I know he one of y'all frat brothers.
Yeah,
And
name sound familiar.
yeah, he's from Chucktown too.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I remember that. I remember that shooting incident. And I remember everybody getting on the phone. Like everybody was calling home, telling what was going on. Everybody was trying to, news was different then, but every parent knew what was going on.
Yeah,
And
so I was about to come home.
yeah, my mom was on the phone with me, and I was like, it was a shooting on campus. She's like, "You good? You straight?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "When you out there?" I was like, "Yeah." Unfortunately, I was. And I was like, "I know some people that got hit." And she was like, "What you gonna do?" I was like, "A lot of people packing up. Some people packing up going home." She was like, "You can come home and get shot." I was like,
Yep.
"Yeah, you." I was like, "You right." She's like, "You might as well just
shit right
be
there.
careful, stay down there, and do what you got to do." You know what I mean? And I
Right.
was like, you right. She's like, "They got guns at home." So she's
It
like,
was like that. It was like that on the west side, man. On the
Yeah.
west side of Charlotte, during like the early '90s,
yeah,
we heard gunshots. That's why I'm like, I'm up here like in the suburbs now. I don't hear no gunshots.
right.
Something ain't right. I'm like, man,
But it was, I think it was more like it was an educational process for a lot of people because they were telling us that before school even started. Like, y'all got to be careful. Don't be fraternizing with people from Charlotte. These Charlatanes, some of them is crooked. They out here trying to rob you and stuff like that. And then some people, they just they couldn't peep the
game.
They couldn't peep the game, and they wasn't aware of how things were out of place. Like that night specifically, Travis. Like I remember being downstairs with Rodrigue at the time, and when we walked out underneath that breezeway, we saw them dudes standing over there, and they had coats on. And I'm like, "Yo, it's August, man. What the hell them dudes got coats on for?" And Rodrigue was like, "Why are you tripping?" I was like, "Because them dudes got coats on in August." You know what I mean? And that's what they're saying, right? And they're like, "Let's go holler at these girls. You worry about the wrong thing." And I'm like, "I don't know about all that." You know what I mean? And then, like, before you knew it, it was on and popping. You know what I mean?
So, it was on and popping. You're right.
It was on and popping, and it was innocent enough from our end, from a student side. It was innocent enough, but they wasn't up there. They wasn't up there to be no students. They was up there they were looking for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So that was the downfall. But I think ultimately, it brought our class closer after all that went down, because it was more or less like we were all we had at that point. We were like, all right, well, this is what it is, and these people are family. You know what I mean? So anytime something else happened, you had everybody all.
Yo, we rised up.
Paul was like, "Yo, that's my brother." You know what I'm saying? Like,
so. we really did, man. We really did, and we still the same way.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think the connection with that hall, that dorm, and the reason I'm saying that, Q and Monty, is every freshman male stayed in the same dorm as Smith. So we all stayed in that one dorm. So everybody had that same connection. So
Benedict, it was like 4 freshman dorms.
Yeah, females had different dorms, but most of the freshman dudes, one dorm.
One dorm at that time.
The freshman females at Benedict though. Mather Hall.
yeah.
Mather Hall. Shout out to Miss Mills, boy. She had that joint locked up like Fort Knox, boy.
Y'all wasn't getting in there. Y'all wasn't getting in there.
You know what was crazy? It became an everyday thing for people to notice. If there was a late night fire drill at Mather Hall, it's because they were sneaking the dude out. That's the reason why them fire drills was.
Right.
And cats used to be all up and through that joint. For real.
We mastered the fire escape in Berry Hall after like fire escape in Berry Hall was like it was rigged somehow. People just find ways to get people in and out of that bad boy without the alarm going off.
It was just Justin.
Yeah. All right, so all right, so let's talk about like Monty, a story. Anything that happened like specifically at school to remind you of school, maybe a story you done told a million times before, just something that makes you remember about going to Norfolk State and something that happened.
Oh man, we got so many stories, man. I just think right now, dealing with the pandemic and everything that we're going through, man, just gonna miss out on homecoming this year, man. Like, man, so many people, man, just that's so much a downer for us now, man. Because HBCU homecoming is just like an annual event that everybody has to go to. I don't care if it's your school, another school, travel to an HBCU homecoming just to go to the party, the tailgates, just to enjoy the weekend, man, of black folks, man. So I think, man, just a story, man, just what trips me out is, dealing with like the organization with Kappa Alpha Psi and everything. We all get geared up to get ready for that homecoming weekend. You're trying to get your money saved up. You're getting everything. You're asking people for money for the tailgates and everything, getting everything saved up. And then, man, when you start doing the events, it just trips me out, man. Like when you have the tailgate and then you see all the different women's coming through and they just chilling. And you like, look, we done paid for everything, but they tear everything up for free of charge. They drink all the time. They eat all the hot fish, eat all the shit. Like, man, and they go to every organization.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you like, yo.
Like vultures.
Man, like we got the baddest females over here right now, but guess what? They gonna be over there at the queue.
They gonna be over there next, yeah. Like, so the thing about it was when you on the yard, when you on the yard and you responsible for the food and everything for all the alumni that come back, the women are the ones that's gonna eat the food anyway. But you're responsible for getting that food.
Make sure it's there.
Y'all gotta have the food for the brothers. And the brothers don't even eat. They're like, we ain't even getting nothing to eat. I'm like, man, all them chicks ate. They're like, well, they ain't even part of the organization. Like, hey, man, they eat everything. You know what I'm saying?
This is a universal story. Because and then all the liquor, man, you got the Nuke juice or whatever. You got everything. Yeah. All that, dog. I'm talking like women have it made at homecomings, dog. They would tear you pockets out the frame, man. So that's just a good story.
Free room when they come into town, depending on they're gonna know somebody that's gonna give them a free room. They're gonna be able to crash somewhere at the very least. They're gonna find some place that they can go get something to wear real quick. They're gonna crash. They ain't gonna leave homecoming hungry. They ain't gonna leave no event hungry. They're getting in the step show free. Like I'm telling you,
they got it made. They got it.
You're going to miss all that this year, man, because I think all HBCUs canceled.
Yeah,
I know ours canceled.
It's a wrap. I wouldn't even risk it myself, even if it was available. I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, Q. What about you at Benedict? Like, what's a story that you remember, or something crazy that happened, or something funny or inspirational?
If I got to pick one, the one that come to mind, man, is the Groove. Did y'all have Groove? Groove?
We had Groove. We had Groove.
Shout out to the Grooves, man. But these boys had a house. They was one of the only
He froze on us.
Yeah, he froze for a second. Hold on. Let me see if he's still there. Q, you there? All right, let me see if I can get his connection right. Travis, you still there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here, but I'm still trying to.
You trying to think of one?
I'm trying to filter one.
You can listen. Protect the innocent. You know what I'm saying? Use aliases if you have to, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You better talk about that train. You better talk about that train.
Hey man, so all right, man. I had a lot of stories, man, but I had a lot of stories, man. So I don't know, keep it sports wise, or should I Should I keep
You can listen, man. You can go anywhere you want to go, man. You go anywhere you want to go. But I will tell you this. Like I said before, I told you this story before. Like when I met y'all enlisting. I met you and Frank and Boo, and I was asking y'all like, what island y'all from? And I was like, man, we ain't from no island. I was like, why y'all talk like that? He's like, we from Charleston. I was like, I didn't know anything about Charleston. I didn't know anything about Charleston, South Carolina. I didn't know nothing about Geechee. I didn't know nothing about the language or nothing. You know what I mean? So it was freaking me out. You know what I'm saying? But that was needed for me because that's the reason why I went to a black school, because I wanted to get to know everybody. Like, and it was like things that I would say, people would be like, what you talking about? You know what I mean? Like I would say John, and people would always be like, what John? You know what I mean? What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Right.
We got you. Yeah. And like
man,
those words, it would you good. That's like one of the things that stuck out my mind. But it was surprising to me, like when I got to school, I hung out with so many people from South Carolina. Like I hung out with more people from South Carolina than any other state when I was at school. You know what I mean? Right. And it was because I connected. For some reason, I just connected with people from South Carolina. And then people be like, man, you get along with a lot of people. I'll be like, dude, they grew up the same way we grew up. Difference is they played in the dirt, we played in the street. Like that's the only difference to me. You know what I mean? So
y'all hang off the poles when y'all win the Super Bowl too, right? Y'all hang off the. We ain't did that.
No, whatever, man. So Q, what was you saying about the grooves?
Oh, so yeah, man. So they would have these. They was the only organization that had their own house in the area. Okay. The Qs wasn't on the yard at the time. We didn't have a house. The Alphas didn't. Like nobody did. So we was over there like at one of their parties or whatever. That joint used to be jumping. I mean, when I tell you these motherfuckers used to have like the wildest little parties, man. It was cats gambling upstairs, shooting dice. This shit was like a speakeasy, bro. This was like some old school back in your grandmama house type joint. So the whole downstairs is rocking. And like for some reason, everybody's sitting there sipping on the little groove punch or whatever, and it feels like the house is shaking. Like we like, why is it fit? Do everybody feel this house shaking? Now we knew we was by a train track, but it never shook like this. So if you stood still, like everything was moving, like and you standing still. So we like, what the hell is going on? So we like, look, we about to leave. We about to head on to the door. As we walk into the door, bro, I never forget, the kitchen and dining room floor caved in.
What?
The kitchen and dining room floor caved in. Now, luckily, this was only a 1-level crib. So everybody dropped. They literally dropped like 2 feet. Like, it was chicks' legs, shins all bloody from hitting the they shit all bloody. Niggas in there with they fresh, what y'all call them in South Carolina, Willie D's. They in there with their Willie D's on.
Air Force One.
Everybody in there, it was so messed up. And like I said, when it caved in, all the dust, and when you know it's a flat level crib, so it's only dirt under it.
Right.
All of the dirt just wafted into the room, bro. It was the craziest shit. I would never forget that. I will never forget that night. And that was the last party that I've been to at that house.
That was your freshman year?
That was freshman year. Freshman year. I'd never forget it. I'd never forget it.
Y'all reached the weight capacity and broke the house. That's crazy.
Broke the house, bro. Broke the house. Kept paying for running upstairs because they thought somebody had blew the house up. Because the whole kitchen and dining room area fell at the same time. Like, I've never seen no shit like that in my life, bro.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. And I know they ain't own that house. They probably was renting that joint. They probably
damn, they still stay. It ain't their house no more. So you're right, they probably was renting it, but it's still over there. It's still over there.
Yo, that's hilarious. Hey, Travis, go. Somebody, Al said that you tore the sink out the wall at the YMCA.
I'll come across a Buddha like, well, that was at the YMCA out there on Betty Ford.
Okay.
Yeah. Tom had a little party out there, and
right.
It was off the chain. So you know, in high school and stuff like that, I'm a pure athlete. So there was no drinking involved. And actually, I think I just started sipping on some stuff,
Right.
hanging out with Tommy
Right.
and Big Tracy and those guys, and we went to a party out there at the Y.
Right.
And before I went, I was punching holes in the ceiling. I ain't proud to say that, but I was punching holes in the ceiling up at you got your ceiling tiles and stuff. I was punching holes in the ceiling tiles, and for some reason I guess I was feeling extra strong.
That was what was in that cup.
That's strong. Yeah, he was drinking that strong.
Man,
that was what was in that cup, bro.
We went to the YMCA was off the and I actually I messed up a good party. So we was in the bathroom and for some reason I don't know why, man. I just felt like I could take a drink out.
This dude crazy.
And I did it. I had the stink in my hand. I'm the pipes and stuff, and I took the out and everything. Water was going everywhere. And, there was a couple of witnesses to it. I guess Al might have been one of them.
Oh my God!
Remember that? I know some of them, but I didn't know Al was one of them.
This is 92.
It had to have been about. This might be my freshman year.
He said it was his B-Day night 92. And look, you know what? It was second semester.
First
weekend, second semester. Okay, yeah. So freshman year, I got you.
You remember that man was scarred.
But that dude messed up the party. That's why he went.
But I didn't know the funny thing. I didn't know I was the reason why the party was over at the time. So
right.
So until we all got on the bus and it's like everybody trying to figure out what happened, and somebody in the bus like somebody ripped the sink out the wall.
Wait a minute, why Al in the comments talk about it was second semester, January 11th?
That's second semester, right? It was. We were back. It had to have been our first party back. It had to have been.
Right.
It had to be.
He know the date. It was his birthday. That's why he said that. That's
I'll never forget it.
That's funny, yo. That's hilarious, yo.
I got one other thing. My first strip club, right, was at John C. Smith.
All right. Where'd y'all go?
Monty probably know Tom Tom. Tom Tom a legend.
Yeah.
So I had never been to a strip club, and so Tonton got, I guess, a few of us select fellas or whatever, and so of course we ain't got no money. He was like, "Man, y'all don't need no money." So he put us in a van. We had a shuttle bus, and he took us to Eastway. It was Eastway in the Plaza, and I don't know what the name of the club was. I can't remember, but I know where it is. It was on Eastway in the Plaza.
All right.
And we all got out the bus. We sat outside of a club that wasn't open yet. It wasn't open. So, and he's like, "Man, I'm gonna get some more fellas." So he left, came back, got some more fellas, and then all these girls started coming up, and then Tom Tom took the key, opened the club up, kept us outside, and then the girls went inside and stuff. Tom Tom keep coming back telling us, "Hey, y'all chill out. Now we got." How Tom Tom is, we got it. So we see the girl, we happy now. So we all sunken. We can't go back because we came with him, so he got to take us back. So we there. So we there, and finally we get to come in, and man, these are the baddest girls I've ever seen in my life. I mean, these girls, and we having a ball, right? But ain't no money flowing, right?
Right.
We ain't got no money.
Right.
So we needed money. So we having a ball, and the girls kept asking Tom, why they ain't got no money? Because they asking us tip. We like, tip? We talking about tip. So the girls didn't know we was in college. Girls didn't know we was in college. So, they talking about tip. We ain't got no money. He ain't said we needed no money. Man, it was the funniest thing in the world.
What he talking about, tip?
Man, Tom went I mean, this girl went off on Tom, man. We in college, we ain't got no money. He ain't said we need no money. You know, I mean, we stealing and touching and doing all this, ain't nobody got no money. You know what I mean? Some people had some money, you know, try to throw some money out there, but we ain't had no. We wasn't
They wasn't making no money with y'all. That's what I'm
saying. So at some point they realized that what we were, and Tonton was just hustling. And man, we had that was like the best time. Best time as far as my freshman year I can remember that I had at Smith. You know, as far as that is concerned, because you know when I was at home, you know, my mom was a pastor, my dad's a deacon, so I wouldn't experience stuff like that. So
yeah, that's funny, man.
That's one of my.
I must have missed that. I must have missed that shuttle bus because I ain't know nothing about those strip club freshman year.
Oh really?
I ain't know nothing about that. I remember all the shuttle buses, but I must have missed that one. I wasn't in that loop. I don't know.
Liston Hall. What was that? What's that road on the side right there?
Oh, talking about Campus Street.
Campus Street was right there on Campus Street.
Yeah. That dude, come on, man. That's the life right there. That's funny though. I don't know nothing about you ripping that sink out too. That's another story I didn't know nothing about. There's a lot of stuff I remember, but I don't remember both of them stories.
That's why I say I can't say too many of my stories. I
got another story. Yo,
go ahead,
man. This dude, I remember, we was in the freshman year. We shared the dorm with the football players, and they was all on the lower level, all of them. Mm-hmm. So we used to go down there to wash our clothes. That's where the laundry room was, in the basement too. So it was this one time I had a shirt. I had this custom shirt. It was just I remember the shirt. The shirt, it was one of them airbrush joints you used to get at the mall. It had Just Like Music on it, and with the treble clef in the middle, and on the back it had my name. It had my name on the back of the shirt. So I'm sitting there. I don't know why, but for some reason I just could not find this shirt. This shirt was just gone for like a week and a half. Football players. So the football players, these cats, they getting their equipment and all this stuff or whatever. And this was second semester freshman year. That's how I remember it so well. Second semester freshman year. And they was going out to practice or whatever, but I was on our floor. So I'm sitting at the door. You know, you got to make sure people's checking in and doing all this other shit. So as I'm checking these cats out, this dude had his pads over one shoulder. So and some other stuff, so I couldn't see the front. So as he turned to walk away, all I see is Q on the back of this shirt. Nigga, that's my motherfucking shirt. Turn around, so I grab him by the shoulder and turn his ass around. Just like music on the shirt. So I'm like, nigga, this is my shirt, bro. Take off my shirt right now or I'm whooping your ass. Yeah. Take it off right now. I made this nigga take my shirt off right there, brother. The shirt was already musty. So I don't know what he did in this shirt. The shirt was already musty. So I was going to let him keep it, but I was like, you know what? It's the principle.
It's the principle.
Out in the rain. Nigga, this is my shirt.
I'd have let him keep it, man.
I didn't wear it no more. I threw it away. I cut it up. I was like, you're not going to get no more wear I get. So I cut that some bitch up and I threw it away. But I was like, bruh, I was like, this dude, you know my name. And you have this shirt on. You know that shirt ain't yours. You bitch ass nigga. You stole my shirt out the line. Bro, I was tight. I was tight.
Hey, Monty.
One of them Charleston boys, too.
It was
Charleston. It was one of them Charleston cats. He was over there. Man, I ain't know this beating up shirt. What you talking about, boy? I ain't boy. This shirt been in my laundry. What you talking about? What you talking about? This shirt been in my laundry.
Oh, that's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious.
That shirt goddamn
it was stuck in the dryer. He probably stuck in the dryer and he grabbed it up. Was like, oh,
man, that nigga got this shirt out.
He was like, giving out free shirts, man.
Because you know, dudes used to always steal, man. You used to always steal some clothes from the laundry machine.
I was one of the biggest niggas in there, so I know I wasn't stealing no clothes.
I think our freshman year, somebody had messed one of the wash machines up because they was dyeing something. They put some dye in something and put it in the dryer and was trying to dye a jacket or something, and it messed the whole dryer up. I'm like, man, which Bama came down here and messed the whole dryer up? You know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous, man. So Monty, did you know anybody at Norfolk State when you got there?
No, I ain't know nobody, man. That's like,
yeah,
like, man, my freshman year, man, the first 2 weeks it rained every day, man. Like, man, it was like a little tropical storm every day. So we had to stay in our dorm room, man. You couldn't go out, you know, and see what was going on, man. But after that rain finished, man, we was out of that financial aid line. That's when you see everybody. Yeah. That's when you like, look, man, I had an S curl then. So, man, so I'm out there in that hot ass Virginia weather with the curl.
This shit dripping down. He got
that baby, you wonder why they was calling you a Bama? Come on, man.
I thought it was genuine out there. I thought it was genuine. This was 1999. And the S-curl.
I would have clowned you every day. I'd have been like, man, ready for the world. No. Ready for the world.
You couldn't tell me that, man. I was coming out there with them Tommy Hilfiger swimming trunks on. Like
man, that is hilarious, yo. Man, that's hilarious, man. That is funny as hell.
And he got an Ice Cube NWA t-shirt on with the
I had that girl.
Your nickname been straight out of Compton, yo. Straight out of Compton.
I remember, you know, man, my line name is Country Grandma, right?
Okay.
And then, but man, I remember, man, goddamn, man, we was in the library. I was just talking. Some girl said, "Hold up, is you from New Orleans, Louisiana? What the hell? Where you from?" I said, "Charlotte, North Carolina." She was like, your ass is way beyond the woods. She's like, "You country."
it was a culture shock for a lot of people because I know when I lived the floor I lived on in Liston, I remember the first week we was in school, everybody had their doors open. So like before everybody was going to sleep, people were just yelling through the hall, just talking. And I remember some cats was at school from St. Louis. It was a group of dudes from St. Louis. And they all had the rat tails. And man, listen, all I remember somebody yelling down the hallway and said, "Hey, where New Edition at?" And then somebody was like, "Who you talking about?" They're like, "Them dudes with them rat tails." And everybody just started busting out laughing, man. They was like, I think one of the dudes kept it, but the rest of the dudes cut that joint off like the next day, yo. They was like,
he taking that shit to the grave with him. It's St. Louis all day, nigga.
Absolutely.
St. Louis. I'll tell you, it was different. I mean, first time I met a black person from Alaska was at John C. Smith. I was like, "Yo, you from Alaska?" Like from Alaska. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like we knew.
How did you get over here?
Right. But then it was people at Smith from Compton, and I mean, it was everywhere. And I'm like, how'd you hear about John C. Smith in Compton? You know what I mean? It was just, you know, that's just what it was. You know what I mean? So it was like a melting pot for everybody. You know what I mean? But
it was a melting pot.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought, you know, when you learn other people's culture or why people are the way they are or what they believe in, what they don't believe in and stuff like that, it's all relative. You had Muslims, you had people that were Christians, you had people that never went to church, you had preachers' kids, you had all kind of people, and you know, you had somebody like, you know, you have somebody that start a word of prayer in the middle of the calf, you'd be like, what's going on with them? They're like, they just having devotion. Somebody catch the spirit while they eating their lunch. You be like, man, stop playing. You be like, you just don't, you just don't know. You just, you know, but you don't mind. You just keep it moving. You know what I mean? I tell you, like one of the best things I remember about school, like when you have somebody come visit and they be like, oh man, yo, what's up with her, man? She look good. And you be like, she all right. You be like, no, man, she fine. Be like, well, we see her every Saturday in the morning at the calf, so all right. You know,
oh, you know, you want to tell what was good too. You know how it be cold that spring semester, and then that first hot day Oh, you see, goddamn, all the females come out with all bodies there. You like, yo, man, sweatpants gone. Like, man, where Shorty been at? Like, damn.
Yeah.
They come out of bodies, man. With that first hot day, man, in spring semester, it'd be on.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know what the ratio was at y'all school, but our freshman year was 13-1.
Yeah, it was up there. Yeah,
that was 13-1. So that was to hear that, I was like, man, I'm in heaven. Because I mean, high school was high school, but college was something totally different. You know what I mean? Like you lived there. Like you lived there. It wasn't nobody telling you, you know, get off the phone. It's time to go to bed, or she can't come out. Like, yo, she coming out. You know,
we gonna go on into the park because we can't come to each other's dorms. So,
right.
And we ain't got no cars.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. Like when you're in college, you know, that's the ultimate time. You know, she down for you when you in college because you ain't got nothing.
Ain't got nothing.
Like, you know, she impressed with the simple fact that, you know, you might be able to put a couple pair of clothes in the cleaners. She be like, oh, you living good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you good. You good, really.
Right. You know what I mean?
Invite her over for some gourmet noodles.
Yeah.
You got money.
Wendy's.
Use it to microwave popcorn.
Our thing was Wendy's, man. If you got Wendy's, if you can afford to get some Wendy's, you can get.
He was that dude.
You like, man, you getting 2 double stacks. You getting 2 double stacks. $1. Wendy's was that spot, dog.
Yo,
that's funny, man. That's hilarious. It's crazy because, like, if I go back and think about when I was on the yard, we didn't have cell phones. Cell phones wasn't popping when we was in school. Like, no, like we had some people had it, but nobody had no cell phone. People had beepers. You know what I mean? But thing about it is, how'd you find people? Like, we think back to like, how'd you actually find people? Because like, if I was looking for Travis, I'd be like, y'all seen Manigo? They'd be like, yeah, he was over at the calf a little while ago. You walk over to the calf. But y'all see Manigo? Man, he just went down to the gym. Then you had to walk down to the gym. You like that? All the thing. Then you see that dude like a day later. Like, yo, I heard you was looking for me. Like, dude, I've been looking for you so like for the whole day.
Yeah. Right, but we had payphones in the hallway.
Yeah, they had payphones, and then the ring and somebody on the phone for you.
Yeah, like my mom used to call a payphone. Yeah, and ask for my room number, and whoever answered the payphone would come to my room and tell me my mom on the phone.
I remember that freshman year. I remember that. I remember when they gave us cable. Do you remember when we got cable in the yard? Right? And it was one person would get it, and they would have wires running from that one person all the way through the hall. Everybody.
But I remember when we got phones in our room too, because we got phones in the room
too. Yeah, that was like '92. Yeah.
So we went from the payphone when we had phones in our room.
Yeah, but then everybody's phone be ringing at the same time. Like, is that my phone? Like, no, everybody go run like.
Now, if you call somebody and it was on the phone, it would ring and then have like a. So if you on your phone, you know somebody calling you, have a second beep or something.
Second beep, yeah.
Somebody was calling, but you couldn't click over though. You just know somebody was calling, right?
I was calling you, yeah. That was crazy because you had to pay extra for phone waiting. Like you had to pay extra, bro. Yeah.
Y'all niggas old, man.
It ain't that far away.
No.
It's not that far away. Cell phone, nigga. I had a cell phone. I had minutes on that.
08. Yeah, 08. So
it was 04. I went in at 04.
Hey, yeah. I had a phone card, man. My mom used to send me a phone call. And you had like 60 minutes or like an hour up on that phone card to use, man, because if you didn't use that phone card, I ain't had no cell phone, man, till like my sophomore, junior year.
How many students got in trouble for the phone card scam when you was in school?
Oh man, all of us did, man.
What was the phone card scam?
Oh, people had a code and it be running on people's card. Like that's how you don't let nobody borrow your card. Yeah, somebody borrow the card, they figure out the codes, and then all of a sudden you got like $1,000 worth of phone calls on your card because the campus got your card code.
Yeah, somebody that hacked your card. That's what it was. Yeah. We didn't have social media. You know, like I'm like, we ain't had no social media. So like even when I pledged, like man, like how you was talking about how you had to get to know people and stuff, you had to call them old heads, man. You wasn't reaching out on social media or trying to see what you had to call them every day on that phone call to see what was good, man.
And we speaking of
that, like even when it was time to pledge, you had to be by your phone to answer. Because if they called you and you wasn't by your phone, they're like, I called you. You'd be like, I didn't get the call. Be like, I called you.
They had to be together at a certain time.
Missed out on a whole lot with
at a certain time. That's what I want y'all to get. You get one old head talking about. I want
one person got that phone call.
Yeah, that phone call come when that sun go down and that phone call come. You answer that phone. That's a problem. You know what I mean?
We just had to be together. We just had to be in the same room, be together. Exactly. When we call, all y'all better be together. We ain't calling everybody's phone. We calling one person's phone, and all y'all better be together. Let us not all be together and be able to come on that phone talk about some greetings, big dog.
But you know, the cream on that is just change your voice up. They be like, that's what we do with 5 different voices, like hello. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you gotta be, man. We all hit big brother, son.
No doubt. Hey man, y'all, this been a great episode, man. I'm not gonna keep y'all longer than an hour, man. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Shout out to Norfolk State. Shout out to Benedict. Shout out to John C. Smith. And
hey, Justin. The funniest thing that I can say about Benedict, my boys was from Benedict, and they used to sing the craziest song, and I thought it was the worst song ever, but they sing it with pride. So I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and sing that same weird. Say that we a dick, you a dick. We all go to Benedict, KK.
I'm out of here. All right, y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good night.
Travis was laughing at that one. That was funny, yo. That was funny.
I didn't know where he was going. I was finna say this motherfucker know the alma mater, nigga. What the fuck?
I don't know that shit.
I thought he was about to come up with the alma mater. I was saying,
that's hilarious. You gonna talk trash about that?
One of my boys came in. His boys came from Benedict, and then say, "Yeah, I'm a dick. You a dick. We all go to Benedict." Funniest thing I ever seen in my life. I was like, man, y'all sing that for real?
Yeah. That's hilarious, man. Hey, man, y'all hold it down, man. I'm going to reach out to y'all again sometime soon, man. But appreciate y'all tuning in and joining me with this broadcast, man.
Appreciate you, Jeff.
Thanks for having us.
Peace, man.
Give me, fellas.